Hello everyone and Namaskar. This is Dr. Sudarshan Sambhaji Rapedge, Assistant Professor, Department of Zoology, Kalasasha Rasika Mahavidyalaya Devani, your zoology companion, and welcome to my lecture. In the last lecture, we completed pond ecosystem. In the pond ecosystem, there are two components we also studied, that is the abiotic and biotic components. Now today we will focus on the next topic, that is the desert ecosystem. In the desert ecosystem, what is meant by the desert ecosystem and what type of components and what type of animals as well as fauna as well as flora is there. Okay, so see one by one. We know very well basic functional ecological unit, that is called as the ecosystem. Okay, ecosystem is the basic functional ecological unit. That it is called ecosystem, and it consists of living organism, that is the biotic factors, as well as non-living substances, that is the abiotic factors. Okay, and we know very well ecosystem is the interacting system. Okay, and desert ecosystem is also interacting system. Why? Because they have exchange of materials between the living and non-living factors, as well as abiotic and biotic factors. Okay, that's why we call it as desert ecosystem is also interacting system. Okay, in the desert system, you have seen there the rainfall is very much less. Okay, it is less than 10 centimeter rainfall is counted. Okay, it is a one particular special features of the deserts. It is the rainfall is very much less. Okay, it is about 10 centimeter. Okay, and as well as another one an important features of the desert ecosystem, that is the temperature is very much higher than that of any other regions. Okay, or any other temperate zone, as well as any other regions of the earth. Okay, desert is the very much temperature, or very high temperature is high temperature is recorded is there. Okay, that's why, as well as one particular movements is there, that is the air movements, continuously air movements, as well as storms are common in deserts. Okay, and in the deserts we have seen in the earth surface, 1/5 of the space it will be occupied by the deserts. Okay, 1/5 portion of the earth surface, it will be the occupied desert ecosystem. Okay, we know very well one particular famous example of Thar deserts. Okay, it covers an area of 50 lakh square kilometer. Okay, and that's why the desert ecosystem is also called, it is the terrestrial ecosystem. Okay, it is a self-sustaining as well as self-sustaining ecological system. Okay, that is the one particular introductory idea about desert ecosystem. Okay, so in the next slide you have seen that is the components of an desert ecosystem. Okay, components of desert ecosystem. In that, a desert ecosystem is made up of two components, namely abiotic and biotic components. Okay, the abiotic components include non-living things such as sand, water, air, light, temperature, etc. Right? And the biotic components include living things such as plants and animals. Okay, the plants of a desert includes succulent plants, okay, succulent plants, thorn bushes, shrubs, and some trees, such as, for example, yuccas, agaves, cacti. Okay, you have seen there. Okay, and some bushes as well as shrubs and some trees. Okay, and another, the animals include the camel, kangaroo, rat, antelope, owls, uromastics, hawks, molech, Hyranosoma, rattlesnake, insects, spiders, etc. These are the animals are found in the desert ecosystem also. Okay, we know very well the biotic components of the any type of ecosystem. There are three components, that is the producer, consumer, and decomposer. Okay, similarly here the biotic components of the desert ecosystem consist of producer, consumers, and decomposers also. Okay, the producers are the desert plants and the consumers are the animals, right? Okay, all plants are the producers. Okay, they have prepare own food material. uh, okay, and the consumers, it's totally depends on the plants. That's consumers is called as herbivores. Okay, and another, that is the carnivores is there. Okay, that is the consumers. As the secondary consumers, it is the those animals is total depends on another animal or herbivores. That's that animal is called as primary carnivore or secondary consumer. Okay, and primary consumer means the herbivores are the primary consumer, but the carnivore, that is the secondary consumers, that is the primary carnivore, and tertiary carnivores also. Okay, in the consumers are the, there are three types, right? There is the primary consumer, secondary, and tertiary. In the primary consumer, herbivores. In the secondary consumer is the animals is total depends on herbivores, or animals is total depends on another animal. That animals is called as carnivorous animals, and that consumers is the secondary consumer. Okay, and tertiary, another, this is the tertiary consumer is totally depend on the secondary consumer. That's why there that consumers is called as secondary, sorry, tertiary consumer and secondary carnivores, right? And another, that is the next is the decomposers. Okay, in the decomposers, in the last uh, lecture we have seen, in the pond ecosystem, decomposers is the bacteria and fungi. Similarly here, desert ecosystem is also decomposers. It is the bacteria and fungi. They break the dead bodies of plants and animals. Okay, and after the uh, dead bodies is release chemicals into the soil, and that chemical again producer consume, and again this chemical in the recycle. Okay, or the energy flow into the next form. Okay, that the producers are eaten by the herbivores, the herbivores are eaten by the carnivores. This process of being eaten is called as the food chain. Okay, so on particular, so today we have seen that is the components of desert ecosystem and desert ecosystem. So uh, another, that is the, thank you very much, thank you all.